So last session, we just defined the research articles and we divided it into different types as research article, review article, and book chapter, thesis, and finally poster. And we differentiate between different types of applications like primary sources, secondary sources, and the how to use each material when you write your research paper or review paper. Also, we give some few tips about how to read your paper. So first is to familiarize yourself about the structure of the paper. Second is to use the keywords to search. Third is to focus on the abstract. And then is to go down to the final paragraph of the introduction. And then is to focus on specific words during your reading. And finally is to extract the information from the tables and from the figures. Then after reading, to summarize your reading, is to read again in details, is to go to conclusion part, then take your notes, then tabulate your findings. For example, you make a summary for your findings from different papers and compare between them. We suggested also some AI-based tools to summarize this and some visualizing tools like MarkMap to visualize your writing. After that, about finding the research topic, first to review all materials you have, then try to find the hot topics in your point, and then from wide to narrow is to just make it narrow as much as possible to find the targeted point, then use the keywords to search, and then try to find specific results related to your work, and finally start free writing of your paper or your proposal. After that, about finding the research gap, we suggested to focus more on the meta-analysis and systematic reviews, then try to extract some research questions, and then find the answer to these unanswered questions, and then try to follow journals. And we suggested that some journals release the special issues. So these special issues mean that this topic has shortage in this area. So it may be a good research point for you. Then you may use tools like Google Trends to find gaps. And finally, we suggested also some mobile apps to be up to date about the publications, like researchers, like PubChase, like ReadCube, and ResearchRap. After that, we also summarized some tips to start writing. First, to make the outline, then try to create a plan. After that, try to structure your proposal. And finally, we give also an example of our university proposal, which includes some topics like Chinese abstract and English abstract. And the most important here is the layout or the roadmap of your research. So let's start today by this part. And after finding your research point, after doing experiment, let's structure your scientific paper. So the structure, we have a common structure, consists of different parts, but I prefer to introduce each two parts in one slide because these two parts has strong relationship. Some people just don't know how to differentiate between the abstract and the conclusion. And some just repeat what written in abstract again in conclusion. So the abstract is a short description of your paper. So the first thing the reader can go to after the title is abstract. So it should be clear, short, concise. So a summary of your paper. And we will show the structure of abstract. We already showed last time, but we will discuss it in detail this time. Also, we have the conclusion. This conclusion should be the main findings, not like the abstract. The abstract should be the context, objective, methodology, result, conclusion, and why your study is important. At conclusion, you just claim that the main finding is this and the limitation of this study. So this is the difference between abstract and conclusion. Next, introduction and methodology. We also will talk in details about each part. The introduction, we said last time that we just get the reader go in details about our topic from the wide range to the narrow range, and the methodology, we describe everything happened in this paper. After that, results and discussion, and some journal, as we said, separated to results alone and discussion alone, and some journals write the result and discussion together in one section. In the result, you only present your result. Don't interpret your result. In result, you only present figures, tables, numbers, values, only mention the results. In discussion, you interpret your result, compare between your result and previous literature, and discuss other works to see the agreement and disagreement between your work and their work. So this structure can be comprised in one figure like here, from the first title, author, abstract, keywords in the first page, and then the description of each part in here, like we said last session, why you write this paper. So the introduction here should answer this question, why you write this paper. So you take the reader after reading the abstract and title, and you show that your paper is really interesting and solve a real problem. And you discuss the previous works and the shortage of them in the introduction part. And the methodology is how to solve this problem. You also write this. And the result, what's the main result of your work, discussion and conclusion. So why your work is important, and finally you put some reference. Here the strategy is called IMRAD. This IMRAD is just the structure of the popular words, the popular papers, like we just mentioned: introduction, material, method, result, discussion, and finally the references. And some that's classified the paper, the introduction and conclusion, and in the middle is the body of your work, like our thesis here. We also, if you are master or PhD, you have to write the introduction and literature review as a one part, conclusion as a one part, and the body is your experiment, mainly your experiment. Master should be 3 chapters, and for PhD, 4 chapters. So next part, from where and how to start write your research paper. So the first step is to format your paper. So who is your audience? Who is the audience who will read your paper? So first, you have to determine the targeted audience of your paper. Then go to find the publisher's notebook. Each publisher and each journal have like instructions. You have to really read this instruction and follow it, so you can then organize your paper. As we just mentioned, that every journal has they have own structure, they have own style. Some journals now writing the result and discussion before the methodology. Some just divide the abstract into categories like this. So first, you know your audience, read the instructions, and format your paper. So from where you start, for my suggestion, I suggest you start by methodology. To write the first part is to write the method first, and we will say why now. Then you write the result and discussion with the good result, with the bad results. Then introduction, conclusion, abstract, and finally the title. Some people that they put the title even before they start the experiment. It's not like this. The title should be the last thing is to write in your paper, because the title can be changed many times. Even your thesis titles can be changed even after the defense is okay. So this is the steps I just said. Next is to read the instructions from the journals. Here is an example about journals called Food Chemistry, and on the website of each journal you will find like guide for authors. You have to read it carefully since you target this journal. So you go to instructions and you will find everything about your paper and how to prepare your paper from this section. The preparation, they will just give example and give instructions for every part to write about. We extract some information here from the journal, and they write here that the title should be concise, informative, and avoid abbreviations, because this is the point we started with, is to know your audience, because some of your audience, they are non-specialists. For example, I'm not biologist, but I have biology point in my research. So I have to read it from the biology paper, but I'm not biologist. So try to avoid using abbreviations and complex words in the title. For the highlights, they also suggest to write 3 to 5 bullet points, and the maximum number of characters, including spaces, shouldn't be more than 85 characters. After that, they also suggest the abstract is about 100 to 150 words, and it should be also concise, direct, and clear. Also, graphical abstract is mandatory in some journals, and most of journals now require to draw the graphical abstract. After that, they also suggest to provide about 5 keywords, and they also give some suggestions here that avoid using and, of, the, and these terms in the keywords, and we will talk in details about each part of this. Finally, the references, they suggest here also a number of references for each type of publication. For short communication, maximum is 25. For original research, maximum 50. And for review articles, maximum 150. So some journals give instruction like this. Also, some journals give some limitations for the number of figures, even number of figures. They suggest you to just put 5 figures, and other figures, if you have, you can put it in supplementary information. So you have to read before you prepare your manuscript. And finally, here they also suggest a conclusion is maximum 100 words. So this can be challenged. To conclude your own work in 100 words is not easy, but we can just try to simplify the steps. For me, I just keep Word file as format and template. This is one of my templates. I just put it like this, and then every paper I just change and use it directly. So in the first page, you have to write your title, clear, in the middle, and in bold, and then the author information, then the affiliations, and finally, you have to clarify who is the corresponding author, and everything should be clear for the editor to just make it simple for them. After that, in the first page, abstract and keywords in one page, and then take a section break to start from the next page. After that, I write the introduction as the first one, then material and methods, and I even keep the format of this each time, because if I create this format every time, I may use non-uniform format. For example, I use this in 12-point font. Maybe wrongly, I can write the material and method in 14 or 16, or so I keep everything in the same format. For example, the figure 1 in the middle. Maybe if I create it at the time of writing, maybe I put it in the left or the right, like this. So to avoid this format issues, you may make a format for you, and every time you just change the information and change everything. I also keep format for table and result discussion, conclusion, and the statement, contribution, and finally the reference. So this is the easy way to format and structure your paper. So the main steps to write, let's say, but start by formatting the paper. And we just mentioned in steps, but we will talk a little in details. The first step is to know your audience, as we just mentioned, that the one who will read your paper, maybe he is not a specialist in your field. So try to use technical technical expressions, but at the same time should be simple. Also, if your paper is, or your work, including more than one field, for sure, every paper should be include more than one field. For example, if someone is working in gene, maybe he will do experiment related to biochemistry. He will do experiment related to molecular biology, like this. So it should be for different fields, not one field. You should use technical language and make it simple as much as can. And you should list abbreviations at the beginning of your paper, or the first appearance of this term in your paper. So this is the first about know your audience. Second is to follow the writing style. We just mentioned that every journal give instructions like, but this is the most common in different journals. They suggest to use the Times New Roman, and the font size is 12, and the spaces between lines is double spaces. Also, the maximum word count, as we just mentioned, some journals, they limit the number of words for research paper and for review articles. Also, the margin size, the line numbers, and everything, reference style, tables, figures, and finally, the titles and subtitles should be numbered like this. After formatting is to organize your paper. We just say that some journals write the result before methodology, write the result and discussion in one section, and these different styles should be followed according to the journal instructions. After that is to balance your writing. So what does it mean? The method and result is the core point and the core part of your paper. So this is the most important part. If you just make priority for the parts of your paper, the first one should be the method, second one, result, third one, description and conclusion, and the last part is introduction, because some reviewers, and most of reviewers, they rarely read the introduction. Yeah, unfortunately, because they just focus on your work, your result, and finally as abstract and discussion and the conclusion. So introduction is important, but is not the most important if compared with the result and discussion and the methodology. So always go back after finishing each part. For example, if you started by writing methodology and now you are going to write result and discussion, after writing the result and discussion, go to methodology again and try to see it with different eye, with, for example, reviewer eye or something like that. You will find mistakes in your writing. So after each part, because when you're writing this part, you only focus in methodology, but you when write another part, you may just put your eye away from the methodology, and you go again, you will find some mistakes for sure. And then take a rest between each part. Don't write the methodology, then directly write the result and directly write each part. So take some rest before each part, to avoid mixing your writing between different parts. After that, after formatting, is the pre-writing. This pre-writing, I suggest first to conduct a literature review according to your research point. Try to outline your paper and include all sections. We just give the format to write the format of your file, Word file, and try to place your figures and tables which are ready and which are already drawing before writing, even before writing, and try to make list of major points you are going to cover, and then try to maintain the writing style so you don't confuse it. For the writing process, this is the pre-writing, and the pre-writing process is to outline, it's pre-writing, clustering, pre-writing. So these are the points before you start the details of your work. So I suggest to start by literature review. We just mentioned that the most important point is the methodology, but this is in only pre-writing, not the final writing. In the free writing, you try your writing in literature, because literature is just about you collect some information from previous works. So if you start by literature review, you may train yourself about your writing. Your writing is in academic style or in non-academic style. Your writing is like have grammar mistakes, have all of this can be just hidden in the literature review part, but in methodology should be in a perfect way. So some steps here is to plan your review, literature review, is to find information from trusted journals, from trusted papers, and then try to analyze these findings and make connections between them, and finally to write your review. Also the steps here is to just structure your literature review. Some points is to do and some points not to do in the literature review. So first is to define a clear scope. If your paper is good in writing, but the literature review is not related to your paper, this will be maybe the reviewer will give a rejection directly that you are not just focusing on the point of your writing. So try to define the clear scope of your writing, then use only the well-reputed journals, trusted journals, because there are many fake journals and fake articles. So try to use the trusted journals only. Also try to analyze and make connections between the sources you collect, and try to use the works from the last 5 years up to date, and conclude some research gaps between the work and your work. Also avoid the plagiarism, because this is the most part can have plagiarism, because you just copy and paste from some journal, some articles. So avoid to do a plagiarism work. Also avoid overloading the details, because details in introduction is not good. Just make your writing direct. Try to make the topic from wide to narrow point, and also try to avoid personal opinions. For example, if you find a paper go in this direction in the results, and another paper go in this direction, try to find the connection point between them, but don't give your personal opinion. Also, don't ignore the conflict findings of the work, and also try to involve different sources of information, like try to involve literature reviews, research articles, book chapters, and don't only depend on one source of publication. Until now, we give like 5 or 10 minutes to receive questions, and then we will take a small break, because the next part is a little bit heavy. We will talk in details. So if anyone has a question until now, we just can answer it in quick. Also, for online attendees, they may write in the chat box. Yeah.
I like your presentation. That's really nice.
Thank you.
I have one confusion about the objectives, because in a research paper, we generally make our objectives related to a conclusion. But I could not find where can we put our objective and what is its relation to the conclusion of the paper.
Actually, the objective of your paper can be put in 3 places. First, second paragraph or third paragraph of abstract. Second is the final paragraph in introduction. Third, the first sentence in your conclusion, but in different ways. For example, in abstract, you write the context, for example, that we have a problem called climate change. This is a context that we have a problem already. The objective is the second sentence. The objective of this paper is to solve this problem. This is the first position. Second position, after finishing the introduction, in the last paragraph, you have to state your hypothesis. You have to state clear objectives, not one objective. Here in the last paragraph, the main objectives of this paper is to 1, 2, 3, like this, and you have to state that your paper is important in this field and will serve as a like scientific basis in this point. In conclusion, in the last part, you have to start your conclusion by the first sentence. In this work, this point was done, and the main findings after this. This is the three main positions is to write your objectives, but in different ways. For example, in the abstract, you just give general objective, only one objective, or main objective. In introduction, different objectives or detailed objectives. In conclusion, only one sentence to state that this paper just solved this problem. This is three position. I think as a beginner, you have to tabulate your findings first. We suggested last time and also this time in summary, we suggest that you make a table. This table can conclude the name of the paper, the author name. Author name is important because some authors in your field are like pioneer or popular. So you may follow them or just try to find different works for them. Then the objective, in the table you may write objective, methodology, result, and conclusion. In this way, you may find that, for example, this author is investigating a specific gene, for example, and he just finds this gene has a function A, and another author just finds that this gene has a function B. So you may find and think about the relationship between function A and function B. You may find function C by yourself. For example, if you find that this author that makes this plant can, how to say, grow in stress condition or drought condition like this. So in this way, you may summarize and just tabulate the findings. You will, after reading many papers, you will have a critical thinking to analyze the findings of each paper. This is a good way. You're welcome. Okay.
Also, concern
actually, fake papers are well known. For example, if you go to Google and just write fake journals, or how to say, like hunting journals, some hunting journal, or yeah, predatory journals. Yeah, this is the expression, predatory journals. There are lists every year. This list is updated, and they include all predatory journals over the world. So if you find a paper, for example, and you find this paper is good and have information is useful for you, you may go to this list and find if the journal is included or not. If not, you can trust this paper. If it's predatory journals, please don't trust it. Sometimes you may think that they do a good work, but you don't have experience enough to judge that this work is good or not. You may discuss it with supervisor, with some of your seniors like this. But for sure, for trusted publishers like Elsevier, like Springer, like Wiley, Taylor and Francis, and this kind of publishers, they are trusted. But we have like MDBI, we have Hindawi, we have Last Frontiers. Some publishers are just so-so. So some journals are good, some journals are not good. So first, try to find the list of predatory journals and then check whether this journal is included or not. This is the way.
Okay, thank you. I have three questions.
Sure.
The first question is about the highlights. Some paper they may mandatory for the highlights, but some papers are not mandatory. So whether we need to, every paper that we want to write should be write most of the highlights or not. This is the first one. And this, and the second one is about the templates. As you said, we prepare our own templates. And my experience also before in my previous supervisor, he made his own templates. Let's say he follow like science or nature or science. We follow it because he said that this kind of template is the best templates for the journal. But the problem when we try to submit in other paper, it says, okay, we need to follow the format. So what do you think about these ones? And the third one is about the consistency when we using some words. As you said before, also sometimes some author or some reviewer is not experts in our field. Let's say like the word same, alike, and then identical. But sometimes in our manuscript, we use like a similar to express some words, but sometimes we need to use identical. So how do you see like in one paper, we use one different words, but it's in the same meaning?
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome. For the first question about the highlights, actually, you have to follow the guidelines of the journal. If the journal requires highlights, you have to create it. If not, you don't have to create it. Because highlights, some journals is like graphical abstract, highlights and graphical abstract. Some journals, they just put it on the online version. If you just go to the link of your paper, you may find the graphical abstract and the highlights. But if you download this paper as a PDF, you may don't find this. So you just follow the instructions of the target journal about the highlights. For the template, actually, from my experience, especially Elsevier, most of the journals in Elsevier, they have the same format. The different point is the style of referencing, the reference style. Some of them that just use the APA, some of them use Harvard, some of them Chicago, some of them use another style, some of them use Mendeley, some of them suggest EndNote. So for me, the first publisher I go when I submit my paper is to Elsevier. So I have this format. It's consistent with most of journals in Elsevier. But if have specific change, I can change easily. But I mean the main body I have. For Springer, for example, they prefer to use EndNote, and they prefer to use the numbering. They don't use 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. They don't use it. So you just easily remove it from the Word. And from Science and Nature, I didn't try before, but they have totally different format from the common journals. So even if you use your supervisor templates or your own template, but it's okay. You just change few things to just follow the instructions of the journal. For the last point about the synonyms or the words, for me, when I receive an invitation to review a paper, if I'm not totally confident that I can review this paper, I reject it. I reject the invitation. During the last 2 or 3 years, I reviewed papers for about 20 journals, but all of these journals in my field. Sometimes I receive invitations from journals, and most of the work is microbiology, because microbiology is involved in my work. But they just investigate specific points, like about anaerobic bacteria, the microbiology of this. I'm not microbiologist, so I reject this paper directly. But for your ease, is try to use simple words, especially in abstract, because the first thing to read by editor and whatever the managing editor or academic editor or reviewer is the abstract and your results. Try to use simple words in abstract. Some words cannot change it. I know some terms, some terminologies, but try to make it simple as much as can. And in your paper is up to you. This is the point.
Yeah. I'm actually my point here is as a beginner, because most of the time we spell out the action of the project. or the topic for the research. Normally we do is to give us a guide, hoping that at the end of the day, there will be a modification on the topic or the title based on the results. But now that it's good due to applying the topic or the title, gets you there at the end of your research. I'm a bit confused because I'm used to like applying a topic initially and actually a guide comes to follow, hoping that at the end of the research or be a so that something let us know to have a direction for our research because we do this, like me personally, I do this to have a direction, the motive of doing some modification at the end of the research. So I still want to add, other better ways, direction of research, starting to state the things that study research.
First, you have to be aware about the difference between direction title and paper title. It's totally different. Now, you are wondering about the direction title or paper title? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Title of what? Title of what? Yeah. You want to put the title before doing the research? Topic? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes the results you get shifts away.
Sure. Yeah.
Then that would have to be on the top.
Sure.
Based on the results.
Sure.
So I saw when it's initially it's top. But now they have contradicted that it is good to do the research before you state on if government. So that's maybe it's true that this is important.
Yeah. The voice, to be honest, the voice is not clear for me. Yeah. we can discuss it later, no problem. Yeah. Later, I mean. If anyone has a answer for his question, is okay. We already mentioned this in the last session. It's to determine your direction, topic, research topic, and the research gap. In these steps, direction, topic, gap. This is the structure. Direction is the big direction. Topic is the topic that you are working on, or your lab is working on. Point, research point is your own point. Yeah, this is the point. For sure, you find articles first and then extract your own. Yeah, I got the point. Yeah, but it shouldn't be defined that the title of the paper. Last session we just mentioned that you have to write your proposal. So in this proposal, you write as you want. Is okay. Even titles, you can write titles, and this modifies the titles as a paper title is okay, but shouldn't be defined as a title paper, a paper title. Yes, this is the point. Yeah, yes, for sure, for sure. Even your supervisor, in your first meeting with your supervisor, he may give you a title. This doesn't mean that this title is your final title. It's just the title of the work. You will, for example, you will explain, you will investigate the effect of CO2 concentrations on this point. This can be a title, is okay, or point. Yes, is okay, is okay, up to you. Even you can use this title, suggested title, and use it in search and find some related papers before starting. Is okay. Yeah, thank you.
You just put the questions online.
Uh, we have some also online questions. The first, please again show the difference between abstract and conclusion. We will also talk about it in details. Also, how to choose journals that correlate with our work. This in the next session, last session, we will talk in details how to find the journal and how to submit your paper. Yes, there is a recording, and we will send it via email after finishing. So let's take 5 minutes break, very short break. Then we complete our talking about the main details about writing each part. Yeah, let's start again. So far, we just finished that last part is to structure our paper, and then we will discuss about how to write each part in detail. But first, let me just answer the question of our brother Ashadu. So the first point, the difference between the topic title and the paper title is clear now. But for sure, you may put your own title before even start your work. For example, you are going to investigate the effect of CO2 emissions on plant growth. For example, if you are going to inject this CO2 or just whatever you want to investigate, is okay. So first, your topic title or direction title, as you just name it, should include these points: what, why, how. What you are investigating: CO2 concentrations. Why? For example, to enhance plant growth. How? The methodology. I will use different concentrations. I will use it in these conditions. I will use this at this time, for example. These are 3 main points to include in your title. For sure, after investigating your work or after doing your experiment, you will find totally different results. The main objective is the same, but for example, you may find novel results. You may find another function of this methodology rather than the one you are targeting. So this is the point to change the paper title again. You may add, for example, the word a novel method to just do this. You may find that this eco-friendly approach, economic feasible approach like this. This is the point. You may put your title first, but should conclude the main points you are going to do. Then you format it after finishing everything. Here's the point. So first, we suggest to start by methodology, material and method part. So why we should start with this? Because it's the easiest part to write or to start with, because this is just to list what you have done and what materials are used, what the equipment, what the instruments, and everything. So it doesn't require any time to finish. You just list and follow another paper, the methodology, and you just write what you have done. So you have to take care about writing methodology. You have to include all material used, chemicals, tools, for example, anything you used, and you have to make a reference to the source of this material. For example, if someone used a chemical from sigma aldrich, it may has a concentration, different concentration from the same material from different companies, like Sinopharm, the Chinese one, has different concentrations, different functions, different purity. So you have to cite the reference company and the reference source of your material. Also, analytical and statistical method should be included, and in ethical approval, for example, for the animal science students, they may need to write the ethical approval before finishing the work. So here is an example. We just highlight example from a paper about writing the material and the methods. For example, this paper is conducting a work on soil location in Iran, and they should describe first the sample location. They got samples from this location. So this location indicates that these samples have been taken from this place, because each place has different characteristics. Also, analysis of samples. They use different methodologies to analyze the samples and the condition of analysis, the characteristics of this soil, for example, and the conditions of everything. They also made here some analysis. Methodology always should be written in past, because this work is already done. So everything should be was, where, have been, has been, and should be in this way. Also, chemical analysis. If your work has chemical analysis, you also should include that this chemical analysis was done or was measured by this instrument and in this condition and this model. And if you have a reference from another paper, you have to cite it. You have to cite it like this. Statistical analysis. Some papers neglect the statistical analysis, but I still believe that is most important part to show your significance of the work and the significance of your data. And also you have to cite which software, which tools you use to analyze your data and to draw your figures. This is the way you write the method. Actually, the method in most of times is about two pages. About 2 pages is enough to write your methodology, rather than write in details. And we have some conditions about level of details when write the methodology. So if you are investigating something novel, if this is the first time to investigate this and you are the first one, you have to write everything in details, because you may not find many references to cite in this part, and you have to find the support for your claims. For example, if you used a new tool or a new measure to a new method to measure something, and try to find the support and the guide of your work. If this methodology is common, just in brief is okay, and you have to cite references to this method. If the method is repeated, for example, you are investigating the effect of condition on plant, and again you are investigate another condition on the same plant. You don't have to repeat again the same methodology in detail. You just write the first time, and you just write a summary and cite some references and write some references in the methodology. If this methodology is related to the aim, means that the aim of your work is already mentioned before in another part. So just write a summary and cite some references. This is the level of details when writing the methodology. After that, for writing the results, first, all results should be written in past tense, because some papers just write in present or even in future. I just found the paper last month. They used ChatGPT, and unfortunately, ChatGPT just gives some methods as an order. Please put this on this, and this put the sample in furnace, then measure this, and they already just copy and paste and list it as the same and already published. But this will be like retracted if someone just claimed about it. So all results should be written in past and should be neutrally. If you find a negative result, is a result. You write it as it is. Don't fabricate your result. Don't change the trend. Sometimes to follow previous paper, you may change your result a little to just follow the trend. Maybe, who knows? The new result can be an over result. So discuss it with your supervisor and write it neutrally, and don't just put your own personal thoughts. You have to write the cite. You have to cite the figures, tables, and make explanations in the result section, and avoid writing conclusion or interpret your result. If you are writing the result in one section, don't interpret. Don't say the cause of this result. Say the result and leave the interpretation to the discussion part, and don't write conclusion. Also summarize the main findings without discussing the data if you are writing the result alone. And finally, consider the logical order of the results. The same order you did the experiment, the same order to present your results. Example about results. The example from the microplastics paper we mentioned last week. Results here should include some figures, refer to figures. For example, if figure 2 here and figure S2 means supplementary 2, means this paper has supplementary material, and they put some figure there. Also, you may find that different values are mentioned in the paragraph. You have to mention that the trend of your results. You have to explain the figure, refer to the figures, explain the values, the significant and non-significant values, and you have to put figures and make it clear that this figure is related to this explanation, and try to make your figure clear and the data is clear, and make it simple as much as can. After that, writing the discussion. In discussion, here the place for interpret your results. If you write the discussion as a separate part, you have to make interpretation and write the reason of each result you got. Then, second, to compare this result with previous works, and from literature, you find different and similar work to compare with. And finally, to put an evidence that your data is important. So first, interpret. Second, compare. Third, state why your work is important. But here you have to avoid claims and biased thoughts, as I just mentioned. If you got a result, you just interpret it as it is. If you find another one from previous paper got a better result than you also put it. Even you don't need to just exaggerate in just making the data is balanced or something like that. You may exclude it, or you may just put it as it is, even if it is not good as the previous one. Also, don't ignore the papers that oppose your findings. You may find, for example, that your results disagree with another paper. This point strengthens your discussion. Discussion should be strong, should be well structured. So you have to include everything. Also, try to avoid to repeat the results again. You only just need to write the reasons for the results, and without repeating the results again. Example here for the discussion. In the discussion, you have to discuss the previous papers, like here. This paper, they discuss a previous paper from this, and they claim that they found these details, and from our result, we have that we have stated that for example, our result is higher than this paper in this point, and lower than this paper in this point. And you also may state that this paper is agree or disagree with another paper. In this way, your discussion part should be written, and the strength point here, the more you compare results from previous works, the more your discussion is good. So you also may attribute this is a popular expression in the discussion, because sometimes you may get a result, but you are not totally 100% sure that the reason of this result is this point. So you may say that this result is attributed to is maybe due to this one or another reason. So this also point. Another point, maybe at the end of each paragraph, you may write this sentence that this highly suggests that, and you write just one sentence as a conclusion of these findings. After that, writing the introduction. This is the sequence we are just mentioned in the first. So in the introduction, we just said before that we have to review all available literature we screened before and identify the problem, significance, and gap. And finally, in the last paragraph, to state the hypothesis, objectives at the end. And take care about review the literature from the past 5 years, because this is the most up-to-date references you may refer to. If you cited 2 old papers, this is not good, and maybe a concern by the editor or the reviewer. After that, try to use the conjunctions between paragraphs, like we just showed last time about this paragraph. About this introduction, we were talking about the microplastics. They state the first talk about plastic, and then microplastics, then the pollution. And between each paragraph, they state that at the end of each paragraph, they have just like a shorted point, the beginning of the next paragraph, however, and they state the next one. And then moreover, they state another one. Furthermore, like this. These conjunctions could be included in different paragraphs and between paragraphs. Also try to avoid to make the introduction too short or too long. Ideally, 3 pages are okay to write your introduction. This we mentioned last session. I just mentioned it. They here talked about the application of plastic products as a big product, and then they go to microplastics as a part of this, and then they go to review the current pandemic is COVID-19, and then the relationship between the disposable mask, surgical mask, from the microplastic, and finally the objective of the paper. They are writing, and here you can find that you have to cite different papers. And for example, here they claim that there are some evidence about microplastics and pollution about it. This just proves that their work is researchable, and they have evidence from previous work. Next part is conclusion. In conclusion, we just try to wrap or roll on your ideas in one paragraph, and then try to summarize last thoughts, mean the only main findings of your work, try to summarize it in this, and finally try to answer these questions. So what? So what mean? Why this paper is important? And we will show the structure of conclusion, state also significance, limitations, future work, and make sure that your conclusion should be standalone, should be understandable when standalone. For example, if someone just read your conclusion without reading the paper, it should be understandable. Here is the structure and steps to write conclusion. As we just mentioned, I just mentioned to brother there. First, to state in one sentence the problem, then discuss the main findings, then the implications and why your paper is important, and finally the limitations and future work. Here's an example of this conclusion in one sentence: the methodology and the problem that a comparative LCA was performed. Why? To evaluate these three proposed projects. And here, the purple one, the turquoise one, is the result, the main result. Should be include some values, some numbers, and finally, the main conclusion. To sum up, this is the green one, the main conclusion of this work, and finally, then the limitation. Despite this work is good, but still have some limitations, and at the end, you have to give some recommendations and some future work for other researchers to refer to. Here, about writing the abstract after introduction. In the abstract, we just mentioned that this is the structure. We will show it in the next slide, and take care that the abstract should be concise. We just mentioned that it should be from 150 to 200 words, and some journals just limit it to 100 or 150. It should also be informative, so give the most important results only, not the all. No references used in the abstract, and it should be completed just like conclusion. If someone read it alone, it should be understandable without reading the whole details of your paper. What do you think about this abstract? This one of abstracts published in predatory journal. Yes, future. And no structure anymore. No context, no objective is in future as well. And yes, exactly. This is an example we mentioned last session, and also we just clarify here the context, objective, methodology, result, conclusion. So it's clear, concise, direct, informative, and within the limit of the words, and is ideal abstract as well. Keywords. In writing the keywords, you have also to take care about the instructions. Some journals give you maximum 5 keywords, and most of them give from 5 to 6 keywords to mention, and shouldn't be mentioned in title. Last session, someone just claimed that should or shouldn't be mentioned in title, but the standard, it shouldn't be mentioned in title, and avoid the use of these words like and, if, of, the, and avoid general or multiple terms. I will show example also. Also, abbreviations. If you are going to use abbreviations, this abbreviation should be widely used, like DNA, for example. DNA is widely used, so use it in abstract. PCR, for example, like this abbreviations is acceptable in title and even keywords. Here are the keywords. This one, what do you think? This here from China, but they use Nigeria as a case study. Yeah, this one is repeated. This one is repeated. This one is repeated. These two together are repeated. So they don't meet even one criteria of the keywords. This. Yeah, totally different. Direct keywords, they use, for example, here they talk about environmental sustainability in agriculture. So the main key points here is sustainability and agriculture. They refer to agriculture policy. They refer to weak sustainability as a term, greenhouse gas emissions as a relationship with sustainability, also some analysis they used, and this is a good example of keywords and title. They use different terms. So for writing the titles, as we mentioned, it should be informative, it should be descriptive and understandable, concise and interesting. So if you write the title in this way, we may give also some examples here. What do you think about this title? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes. If you finish it, you may need to go back to remember what you read. So it's about 31 words. Very, very long title. And it's published in, I'm not remembering, Wiley, one of Wiley. So if we just paraphrase it like this, we give the same meaning. We use the only important word and only 19 words. So the ideal title should be around 15 words. Only 15 words are okay. 10 words are okay and 20 are okay as well. But ideal length of title is 15 words. Is this? Is this published paper? Yes, sure. I take screenshots from journals. Yes. And how they publish the paper? This is a problem. Yeah. This title is not attractive anymore. They just write it as a sentence. Means it seems like sentence in methodology or abstract. But if we paraphrase it like this, here they mention that they use biochar for phosphorus removal from wastewater treatment. But if we just make it direct, it would be the application of this material to remove phosphorus from wastewater treatment, or these two are examples about good titles instead of this one. Important point while writing your paper is to uniform your name in all your publications. Some, especially Arabian people, they just need they just change the pronunciation of their names. For example, in Egypt we write Ahmed in this way, E, and for Pakistan they use Ahmed by A, and different pronunciation, different writing styles. You are free to use your name, but if you used one name, use it in all your publications, so that you can get your credit from Google or from other platforms to get recognized by different platforms. Also important that about the affiliation. If you publish the first paper and you are going to write second paper, just copy and paste your affiliation. Don't write your affiliation by your name, by your hand again. One of our friends last year has a problem. When he graduated, he published 2 papers, but one of these papers doesn't have the Kwajalein Agricultural University as the first affiliation. When he just write the second paper, he just open a new file and just start to write. So her supervisor has 2 affiliations. One is a key laboratory and related to Guangzhou or Beijing, I don't know, I don't remember, but another one is Kwajalein. So by mistake, he just write this key laboratory before Kwajalein. He has an Egyptian guy. He has a problem while graduating. They said that affiliation of Kwajalein is not the first affiliation. It was a problem, but the committee of the College of Plant Science, they had a meeting and it passed and he graduated successfully. But this is the point. If you write a paper and you already have a format, you just copy and paste to avoid, for example, capital words, confusing about your affiliation and the email and everything. So you may confuse about. Also authorship criteria. is important when you write your paper. For sure, you will not be the single author of your paper. You have some lab mates, you have some friends who helped you. So first, to be an author in a paper, you must meet this criteria to be involved as a paper as an author. So if you help it in conceptualization, design, and idea of the work, this is the one. Another one, data acquisition or analysis. You make interpretation to the results. You create software or use the software to help your friend, and you already did a really good job in revising papers of your friends. Like here in Wano, some supervisor gives the international students some papers to revise. But if you really did a great job in this paper and you have extensive work to be included as an author, you have to claim and you have to ask your supervisor to include your name. But if you think that you even didn't do one of these, maybe acknowledgement is enough for you. For drawing figures, now we just finished the writing of each part, and visualize your work is important. For drawing figures, your figures should have these characteristics like clarity, relevance, originality, resolution, numbering. So clarity, your figures should be clear and should be understandable. And we will also show some examples about figures. Should be relevance, should be related to your work, should be original, should be your own drawing, don't copy and paste. Should be with high resolution. This can be found in the instructions of the journal. They just mentioned that the DPI shouldn't be less than 300, and the number of figures, don't forget to number your figures in a row. What do you think about this? Yeah. Yeah, hard to see. Right? Font is too small. No color harmony. What do you think about arrows? They even use some arrows and they are not uniform. Also spaces, they just make this space crowd and they leave some space here, for example. And there is no symmetry anyway. And this figure from the Journal of Clean Reproduction with impact factor 9.7. How about this? Yeah, for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Vectors. They use good vectors. It's like, for example, plant is not real photo, but the vector is well chosen. Space is also unified. Symmetry. And this published in a journal with no impact factor. Yes. This is the research. Exactly. Sometimes papers published in good journals, and you can surprise that, yeah, how this passed from the reviewers, the editors, the managing editor, and this is the point. So these also two examples of figures. Actually, these are my figures. The posts published in Environmental Chemistry Letters, the last review article, and the last year review article as well. So managing references, we have many software to manage your reference and to insert your references. Like here, most of us, I think, use Mendeley, EndNote, Zotero. This is the most common, but for me, I prefer Mendeley because it's easy and free. But when you just insert your references, you have to take care about the reference style given to you by the journal, and the reference should be organized, should be systematically inserted, And for example, here the useful of using software, you will generate your reference quickly. It will be organized. They have a tool, for example, in Mendeley, they have a tool for web importer. You don't need to download the PDF of the paper. You just insert it from the website. Import and export. You may also save your library and export it. Also, duplicate detection. For example, if you are working manually, you may repeat a reference without mentioning. So when using software, is easy to detect the duplication and automatic updates. For example, if you finish your paper and you are about to add another reference, if you use software, it will be automatically updated to update your list. Is easy to handle. This is the interface of Mendeley. Just prefer Mendeley and use it. Quick review. This is the left part of Mendeley. You may find your library and each groups you created and information. In the middle part, you may find the information of the paper, like the authors, title, the year of publication, the publication, the journal name, and on the right part, you may find the information of each source you are just clicking on. If you click on this, you will find all information, and you may update or you may edit information if false information are here. After that, there are some optional sections. As our brother just asked about highlights, mandatory or option. Highlights in most of journals are option. It's not mandatory, but if required, they are 3 to 5 points, bullet points. Also should include the importance of your work. Also, don't use jargon or abbreviations as much as possible. Also, try to use the active voice, not the passive here in the highlights. Try to use the active voice. We will show example as well. Also, when write the highlights, try to make it simple to be understandable by the general audience, and check the length. Most of journals just require that the maximum number of characters is 85, including spaces. This example of highlights here is 4 points, and they are clear. They are in active voice. They are they don't have abbreviations except the ACA and GHG, which are well known, like life cycle assessment and the greenhouse gas emissions, and they are clear. So the difference between title and highlights here, that if you read the highlights without seeing anything from the paper, you may understand that this paper about life cycle assessment of different scenarios and comparative life cycle assessment from the second point. And the most important result here is the greenhouse gas emission balance and the energy balance are positive. And finally, the priority of these projects regarding to the result. Graphical abstract is also optional part, but recently is mandatory by some journals. And the point here is to read your abstract first, and then convert this abstract to a picture or visualize it in this way. For example, if you are going to draw the graphical abstract, should be concise, should be colorful, visualized, comprehensive, and finally understandable. Is the same as abstract. If someone saw your graphical abstract, should be understandable. The types of graphic abstract, they have different formats. The first one is about 3 windows together next to each other, and like this example. And the sequence of work here is from left to right and from up to down. This should be the sequence of graphical abstract. To understand it, should be from the left, right, and from up to down. This another style, just like 2 windows and 2 books under it. And This is a random way to draw your graphical abstract, but the arrows here should also show the sequence of the work. It's not from this style or this style, but still understandable and still can know the sequence of the work from the arrows in the figure. This one graphical abstract, what do you think? It meets the criteria? Yeah, we just mentioned that the graphical abstract should be visualized, comprehensive, concise, and visualized means photos more than text. This is the point. Here, text is more and is a little bit crowded and doesn't meet any format of the graphical abstract. So if we put this, so it's well understandable, clear, colorful as well. So from here, you can understand the sequence of the work from left to right and from up to down. So this is a comparison between example and another. Some important points here. When you write your paper, you have to think about your data will be converted to table or figure, because this critical point, if you have, for example, data have many numbers, for sure you go for figure option. You want to go for table option. If you make a table and put many numbers, reviewer, editor, even readers will get lost to find the significance and trend of your work. So you think about the data. If the data can be understandable, if values, you go for table. If it's too many numbers, you go for figure. And also you make balance between figure and your paper shouldn't be all figures or all tables. You may make balance between your writing. Also table format, as we just mentioned, if you have the format, you may use it directly. And if the journal requires specific format, you download the sample, for example, and try to follow. Also figure format, for example, you may draw a figure and then you may find that it's better to mix this figure or merge this figure with another figure to make it like A, B, C, D. This is a way. For example, if you have many figures, you may merge them every 4 figures in one figure, for example, or you may spread it in each one as a figure alone. Table and figure caption are important because if someone is looking for information from, for example, from Google, Google Photos or Google Image will give some photos. This photo can be a table, can be a figure from your paper. So if someone see your figure, should understand it without reading the paper. So the figure caption and table caption is important to explain the content of the figure or the table. Another point, the source of information. We just mentioned that we avoid the predatory journals, try to only choose the trusted journals. And if you really find or take this information from a paper, you have to cite this paper. You have to give the credit to the author of this paper and cite this source in the point you just take. Also try to avoid citing common knowledge. We just mentioned in just some journals, they limit the number of for references for your paper, for your review. They just give you the maximum number of references of this paper is 50. But if you just cite everything, you will for sure exceed this number. So the common knowledge, for example, that now we have a climate change problem. This is a common knowledge. No need to cite these words from another source. Also, proofreading is important. After finalizing your writing, you have to make a proofreading for your paper, and you have to finalize your draft. This is the next part, is to finalize the draft of your manuscript. So first, for drafting, you have to revise what you wrote in the first draft. And please double check about your name, especially the last name is important to get your credit. We also had a friend last month. He applied for the paper of the month competition, and after acceptance, he was surprised that the names are mixed, and the first author became the third author, and the last author became the first author. That's the problem. The proofreading is the last chance for you to correct anything in the paper. After the proofreading is submitted, you cannot change anything in your paper unless you apply for correction, and this correction will be published in a separate file. We'll take another DOI, another publication will be called like Radium to this paper. It will be a separate file. But if someone cited your first paper, it will be with wrong information. So double check your author name, the author names, affiliations, fix the language issues, fix the figure staples. For example, I have a situation before that I included 10 figures in a paper, and then I exclude figure number 5, but I forget to change the order from 6 to 10. So now figure 6 should be figure 5, and figure 7 should be figure 6. So again, you revise the number of figures, the number of tables, and the order of sections as well, like introduction, method, result, discussion, and like this, titles and subtitles, the format. Make sure that you maintain the same format in all your manuscript, like size, like color, like style. So how to finalize this? First, you make primary revision by yourself because you are the one who write this paper. So first you make your revision, then try to ask a friend, for example, to your supervisor, one of your trust friends, one of your lab mates. Try to ask another one to see because your eye will be different from his eye. He will see other mistakes than you see because you are the one who wrote this. And maybe track changes is the best way to just make changes in a file and then write a comments and reply to these comments between you and your supervisor. When you finalize your draft, try to make each version. I learned this after I came to China. I rename the file when I work on a file now, today. I rename this file by the date of today. So when I get back to this file, I know that the last day I worked on this file was today. So I write, for example, manuscript and the date of today. And I make many versions of this manuscript. For example, if I submitted this paper to a journal and is rejected, and then I change it in this paper and submit to another journal and is rejected, and now I submit to another journal, but similar to the first journal. If I lost the first draft, I can change everything again. So try to make different versions, different dates, and try to make it in different places on your computer. Finally, some assisting tools to enhance your writing and to help you for smart writing, like paraphrasing. We have different tools. First one is like Quillput. It's a good tool to make paraphrasing. If you have some information from a source and you need to paraphrase it, Quillput has 2 options. All of tools has 2 options, free and premium, and some of them are not expensive, so you may choose premium is better. So Quillput is a good option for paraphrasing. WordTune is also AI-based tool and work in the same mechanism. Spinput, and finally Rephrase. These all are tools to help you to rephrase to avoid plagiarism. Another tool for language editing. So from my point of view, the top one is Grammarly, also has free and premium. Second is Ginger, is also another tool. Third is Scribens, This is also another tool to enhance your language. And rewriter is also a good tool. And we have a tool is popular here called DeepL, but DeepL have two functions, paraphrasing and language editing at the same time, and it also has free and premium. For plagiarism check, for sure, we have Authenticate, the most trusted by journals over the world, and Turnitin. Only these two are trusted by journals and are trusted by authors. If you use a free tool, this free tool may store a copy of your work on the database. So don't use any free tool. You can pay for example, subscriber or someone who makes this test and do it by test. Taobao also has some links to do by once, or you can buy account. So this is the two trusted sources of plagiarism and used by. And here's the difference between the report between Turnitin and Authenticate. They give the same rate, but sometimes different sources and different algorithms, but the same result you can get. For figures, I usually use some assisted tools like VectorStock. It's a very good website. You can get some vectors, like the figure we mentioned in this example was using the plant in a pot. These vectors can be found in this website. Epic is a good website. You may get some photos. PNG, they have without background, transparent background, and some also vectors. And retoucher, this website, you can use it to remove background. You may change background or remove it all. You may make it transparent or change it to white, black, or as you want. This example from the VectorStock, for example, if you just search about anything here, some figures from the wastewater treatment plants. They give you, for example, this tank can be used as a vector. You may download the whole figure or the whole vectors and choose one. So this is a way. This is another one. You also may use plant or some parts of these figures to draw and visualize your work. That's all for today. Let's go for some questions. If someone has a question so far, thank you so much. If someone has a question so far, so we can answer it, then we can hear it. Yes. Yeah.
What makes it a good result? For example, I'm asking this, let's say I am working on a project.
I didn't say bad results. I say negative results. Yes, different. Totally different. Yeah, totally different. Yeah, bad result is a bad result. Don't need to put it in your paper. But negative results, I mean, for example, if you are expecting that you will move this bottle from here to here, but you will push it, it moved from here to here. This is negative result. Another direction, unexpected. This can be novel point. This is the point. Okay.
And my aim is to work on the gene to enhance resistance to disease. And I do my research. So I was hoping to see that this gene, at the end of the day, enhance the resistance of this particular.
Yes.
But it ends up not enhancing it, rather it's making it more susceptible. It's a bad or negative.
This is a bad result. Yes, but if you find another function to this gene, this may be a negative result to your goal, but positive result to another direction. You got the meaning? Yes, exactly.
the study regarding the this as I have seen a lot of governments. Some governments use phrase for 4 words or 3 words together, and some governments prepare a single word. And then which one prepare or which one is most convenient or most common?
Yeah, actually, the main function of using keywords in paper is to increase the readability and the researchability of your paper. For example, if you are going to find papers from Google, for example, Google Scholar, what you are using? Keywords. So if your keywords are familiarized in your field and repeated from many papers published before, the algorithms of Google, if I, for example, search it for heavy metal, the first paper will appear the most popular paper in this field, right? So your keywords, simple, single words, rather than phrases. For example, if I have phrase life cycle assessment is a terminology, I cannot change it. But for example, if I just write quality of education, like this paper, quality of education, this one maybe is not researchable and is not preferred by the journals. But maybe I can make it education quality. And I can make one keyword, education only. Another keyword, quality assurance, for example, because quality assurance is popular, like this. For different journals, they have different styles, but the standard is to avoid these points we mentioned, the phrases and of the long terms and multiple phrases and this. So try to make it simple as much as possible. Yes. Thank you so much. Sure. Mm. Yeah. Mm.
What title? Can I mention is the keywords
Yeah, I got the point. Yeah. Yeah.
what's the we should select a simple label. After the element of the and therefore we get the function vector in favor. If I select simple label, when let's say so the number is very complicated anymore. What are the results?
Okay. Yeah. For the first question, actually after 2021, after ChatGPT and AI tools, all journals now are all good journals now are checking for the AI or AI writing. So to avoid this, if you generate text by AI, you must rephrase it by another tool or by your eye. Don't trust the AI generated text as it is. Even if your text and you just consult it to enhance your language or clarity or something like that, it will be AI generated. So first, you may generate text from AI or just take a paragraph from a paper and use AI to paraphrase. But you have to use another tool or you by yourself to paraphrase it again to avoid this AI detection. Because AI detection is a problem, they just focus on AI rather than plagiarism. Because AI is most popular now. This is the first point. If you use AI, you have to paraphrase after it. This is the point. Another point for the keywords, the way to find the keywords is to use the keywords used by another articles in the same point. Don't generate new keywords except if your word is a novel point or the name of, for example, of insect or something like that you are investigating, this can be one keyword. But for me, I look, for example, if I'm working on AD or biogas production or something like that, all of our papers must include AD. So the first keywords I write, the AD. Then I find the papers which are most related to my work. I find the keywords at the same, because this is the algorithm of research search engines. They just make connection between different sources and just give you the result. To enhance the readability of your paper, use the same keywords used by others, but this should be well matched with your research. So first, mention the unique words in your work, like name of insect, like name of plant, like variety of plant, for example, like this, and then complete with the main objective of your work from another paper, another good papers actually. So you have to balance between the number of keywords from 5 to 6. If you have unique words, use it first and then complete from another papers. The third question about was about
What about the structure of the research papers?
Grammarly. Oh yes, exactly. When I say that English writing or your academic writing should be simple, doesn't mean that your language shouldn't be weak. The difference. Weak is totally different from simple. For example, if you are reading paper from Nature or Science, you hardly can understand this paper because they use very, very different and very difficult expressions. But for common journals like Impact Factor 5, 10, 15, even 15, your language as simple, as direct, as much as can, is better than. Sometimes we use some complex and different structure to escape from plagiarism, I know. But I mean, for example, if you have a word like, how to say, promotion, okay? We have promotion, development, and the AI have a very, very common word. They always generated fostering. Fostering, I just saw it after AI era. This word, I just saw it. Yes, harnessing. Harnessing is another word. Only ChatGPT or AI-based tools, they generated. Harnessing this tool to make this. We have another synonyms like development, like promotion, like upgrading, like many different synonyms is popular and everyone is familiar with. So don't make it complex, just simple, but the language should be well structured, not weak. This is the point. You're welcome.
Research paper writing. You told that the introduction, the abstract and the title should be written at the end. But what should be a strategy for review papers? Like it should be a same, like the title and the abstract should be written at the end. Second question is that what is the general ratio of different journals for age and data? Like if we use AI tools for the interpretation of our results in the discussion part, is it allowed or you should avoid it?
Okay.
What's the general stance of different
Yes, welcome. Actually, for review paper writing is totally different from research article. Now, today we focus mainly on research articles, but for review article, the first thing to do is to lay out your review article, is to put the full layout. You have, for example, 10 main titles, 15 or 20 subtitles, and subtitles. You have to lay out the whole layout of your review article. And then, according to your free time, according to the availability of information, for example, I'm not writing now in a review article. The last review article I published last month, I write it in 2 years. Means I didn't write it every day, but it took 2 years. But for example, I'm thinking that I will write in this point. And while browsing and reading papers, I find a good paper in this point. So I take the DOI of this paper, and maybe I take the paragraph as it is and put it in this part. And again, another day, I find another useful information. I take it as it is and put it in this part. And this, if I just intend to write now, so I find the ready parts to write. Then I paraphrase, I add, I remove, I like this. So no standard sequence to write the review article. Just write the part you are ready to write now. And then after writing some parts, you will be like have a full image about your whole review article. You need to delete this part. You need to add another part here. You need to rearrange the order like this. This is totally different from the research article. Second question about the AI generated text. Actually, is allowed to use AI to interpret your result. But I suggest to just take the text generated by AI and put it in a file and open another file and try to write your own words, even the same meaning from the AI, but you use your own words to interpret your result. You just make it as a reference or a guide for you that the trend of the result is like this. And by the way, don't trust the AI in interpreting your results. Sometimes they give same calculations, they give fake information, they even give fake references and everything. So you may just put it as a guide and then use your own words to interpret your work. Yeah, it's okay. About what? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Which tool you use to paraphrase it? Quillbot? Free or premium? Quillbot free or premium? Free. Free is not good. Yes, to be honest, free just they change some words in the middle and they just change the order of the sentence. For example, this is a sentence and you have like a comma and this another result. They just change, put the first part first and second part next. They change the order. The algorithms of AI detection tools and plagiarism detection tools, some software that they follow eight words together. Some tools, they use one paragraph at all. So it's different. Quillbot is not AI. Quillbot is not AI. And even after using Quillbot, you have to change by yourself. This is also good. Yeah. Limitations of your work or others' work? Of your work. First, you have to be honest about the limitation of your work. Because if you didn't mention it, the editor and the reviewer will just raise concerns about it. What's the limitation of your work? What's the weak? There is no work that 100% completed, for sure. So, but the best way is to try to cover it from your perspective. Like the limitation of this work is like this, and we are trying to solve it. Even in the response file, we will explain it in the next session, how to respond to reviewers and editors, even if the response file or the manuscript itself. Sometimes you may also introduce some specific detail about your future work. For example, if you are working in a point and has some limitations, so you may introduce some specific points how to solve these limitations. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Yes, actually, there are two places to put your limitations. Even the last paragraph before conclusion. Some journals or some authors, they prefer to generate or to create a main title as prospect or some future work, and they put some limitations and put some solutions to it. And some journals and some authors, for sure, they just finish the result and discussion part, conclusion, and within the conclusion, in the last paragraph, they put the limitations. I think we receive one more question. Is this okay? Online? Kindly shows the difference between the caption and the legend. It should be the same. The legend here for figure, if I have a figure and inside the box of this figure, I may put some illustration that the green color of this column refers to this treatment. For example, the red color is referring to this. This can be a legend, but the caption is the caption for the whole figure written after the figure or the table in Arabic. But I will translate it. How to draw graphical abstract? Is there any specific software? For me, I use PowerPoint. PowerPoint is the easiest and most popular tool to draw graphical abstract. There are for sure there are some tools like BioRender, but BioRender is a little bit specific in biology and medicine tools. Can you please send the paraphrasing tools names again? Okay, I will share it by email after the session. Is in Arabic. How to do a good PPT? Actually, is another topic. Yeah, I would like to ask if possible to get a recording. Yeah, the recording I will send it by email after the series is finished. Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah.
Maybe online participants are not already registered participants.
Sorry. No. Some of them fill the questionnaire for getting the certificate. So I have some emails. So let's finish today. Thank you so much for this is the next agenda. We will discuss next week, sorry. We will talk about the pre-submission after finishing your paper, the pre-submission steps, the submission steps and the guidelines, how to submit your paper by yourself, the post-submission processes, how to respond to the reviewers, how to submit and resubmit the revised version, and how to deal with the acceptance and finally the proofreading. Let's take a group photo and then we can leave. Yeah. Thank you so much.